So we have 3 guests coming on to the show. You guys, we're going to have some special guests here. Actually, we're going to have a couple drivers from the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze series on iRacing, and we actually have one of their crew chiefs as well coming on. So Matt Bussa, he is the driver of the number 34 Toyota Camry. Lombard Bros Gaming is on board his race car. We were on board this race car for the second half of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series season, and he was a playoff driver this season as well, and made it all the way to the championship 4. He did not come home with the championship on Tuesday night, but he still had a good season nonetheless. Just the fact that you made it into the championship 4 and have a chance to race for a championship, I think that's really good there. Another driver we're going to have is the driver of the 05 car in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series. His name is Nick Ottinger. He started off the season with the win in the season opener at Daytona, and he also made the playoffs as well. He came close to making the championship for this season, but just barely missed it. He will be joining us as well. And crew chief, and he does more than crew chief. He's the crew chief of Michael Conti, which Michael Conti also made it into the championship 4 as well. Brandon Hastings, he will be joining us on the show as well. Like I said, he is the crew chief, and he does help out Matt Bussa, Nick Ottinger, and Brian Schoenberg as well in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series. He's the crew chief, like I said, of Michael Conti. His name is Brandon Hastings. He is also the tire specialist for the number 22 Ford Mustang in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for Team Penske. So I did not know he did that until I did some more research on him today. I think that's pretty cool as well, that he actually works for Team Penske over in the Xfinity Series side of the number 22 team. So that's pretty cool there. So we're going to have Matt Bussa, Nick Ottinger, and Brandon Hastings join us on the talk show in just a little while. Michael Conti and Brian Schoenberg was not able to join tonight, but we're trying to get them on the show maybe sooner or later down the road. Michael Conti, I guess he had a really terrible flu. He had to go to urgent care today, and hopefully wish him the best of luck. Hopefully he gets well and recovers very soon. And Brian Schoenberg, I actually met Brian Schoenberg in person a couple weeks ago. Really nice guy, but unfortunately he had work tonight, and he was not going to make tonight's talk show. But hopefully they can join us on future talk shows, both Michael Conti and Brian Schoenberg. But we at least got 2 drivers, Matt Bussa and Nick Ottinger, to join us tonight. So now we're waiting for one of them to join in. Whoever joins in first, let's see who's going to win, right?
Right.
Who's going to be the fastest? Watch it be the crew chief, right? Crew chief's going to somehow be faster. Let me just... So we're getting Matt Bussa, Nick Ottinger, and Brandon Hastings on right now. So we'll just see who joins in first. Who do we talk to first? So about to find out. Sent the links to. Oh yeah, this shirt fits perfectly on what on our guest. So he is a NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing shirt that I got a few months ago. So I'm like, man. Here's Brandon Hastings. Brandon, are you there?
Yeah, buddy.
All right, Brandon Hastings, how are you? First of all,
fantastic. Just wish that webcam would have worked, but whatever.
Well, that happens, man. At least you got audio, and that's all that matters. So.
Well, I got dressed for this. Did my hair done and all that good stuff, man.
Oh, you don't need to dress properly or have your hair done properly. We ain't fancy.
I even tied a tie. What in the heck is this? Oh well, whatever.
Wait, you have a tie?
I can tie ties, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh,
well, you know what? I guess webcam's like, no, this is too fancy for this podcast, so we cannot have that.
It's a blessing in disguise. I look 12. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, you're 23, really.
Yeah.
point to your thing. So first off, I want to congratulate you on your success in your career. Can you tell the people who you are and what you're all about?
Copy. Brandon Hastings, tire specialist and interior specialist for the 22 Xfinity car, Team Penske, and the crew chief for the number 5 of the Team Conti 4-front Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 and the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series.
Sounds good. We have Nick Ottinger that just joined in as well. Nick Ottinger, how you doing?
Doing good. Let's just listen to old Hasty over there talk about his life.
Huh.
Yeah, he said that he it's too bad he got his webcam's not working because he said he got all dressed up fancy, his hair combed and everything. And I told him we're not as
no.
Try to be fancy. So you know what? It's probably a blessing that the webcam is off for this. So
no on Hasty, yes. He's probably just eating some cereal or something, shoving his face full.
So, Nick, first off, I want to congratulate you on your success in iRacing and, of course, in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. Can you tell us who you're about and give us more info about yourself?
I'm just about winning and helping everybody out I can. I know we do this iRacing stuff seriously and stuff, but just there, hang out with, obviously, who you want to hang out with, but just about cars. I love cars. I got an old 1969 Pontiac Catalina. Probably about to paint myself, and I've never painted before, so I just like to just learn anything I can about cars and just expand my knowledge from there.
If you want a car guy, this is a car guy right here. My brother right here. He's all about cars, especially the classics, man.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty cool. So, what cars are you working on?
Well, I'm a little bit of a mechanic here and there, I'd say. Okay. I do that for my day job. It ranges anywhere from new stuff to old stuff, but I prefer old stuff because that's what I grew up on a little bit with my dad. Always working on his old cars and everything. He used to own a race car back in the day that I never worked on it, but he always kept telling me stories about how he went to racetracks down in Florida and everything. Who he raced with was Dick Trickle. He talked about racing against. And some guy named Scotty and Glanny or whatever that he just recently connected with again. So, yeah, just anywhere from new stuff to old stuff. But I just love working on old classic cars. That's what I got.
Sounds good. Now, Brandon Hastings, I want to ask you first off, how did you get involved in racing, like NASCAR, or any form of racing? How did you become a fan?
How did I become a fan? I went to my first NASCAR race in 1999. Prime Star 500, Texas Motor Speedway. Watched Texas Terry Labonte, out in my hometown, or my home state, really. Just win the race, and I fell in love. So, watched all the way from 4 years old. Was able to get a chance to get a job at the Richard Petty Driving Experience, thanks to Garrett Smithley at 18. And pretty much just worked my way all the way up, learning, keeping my head down, myself straight, all the way up to be able to have a job for Team Penske, have an owner's championship under my belt, and going for another one.
All right. What about you, Nick? How did you get involved in NASCAR?
Well, I got involved through actually iRacing for the most part, and this iRacing stuff. But I actually got the team that we started with in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series was Gale Force Racing for us, and actually started racing street stocks when I first started the series with Cale Gale. So I actually got through with him and actually got to work, I'd say probably about a couple weeks span going to his late model races and some guy named Brandon Jones who's in Xfinity now. When he raced super trucks down in Atlanta, I think at Lanier Speedway and stuff. That's how I got in there. I'm not really in depth in it like Brandon with his tire specialist, where he likes the old burn rubber and everything.
Right on. So I want to ask you, Nick, how did you get involved in the iRacing? Like, what got you love in the iRacing?
Well, I used to race on PS3 with Mike Connie, actually. He actually talked to me about iRacing some, told me about it, and I think we've been racing for probably a good 10 years now. I just like the competition side of it, like this, where you just come home, just get on here, race, have fun with it. It turned into a little bit more for us. Myself, Bussa, Mike Conner, Brian Schoenberg, and Hasty, take it a little more serious for the prize and a championship they come with every year. But that's how I got started. Like I mentioned, I got started with Cale Gale too. I mean, he kind of pushed me to take it more serious, not treat it as, don't want to say a job or anything, but treat it more serious to where you want to represent yourself the right way.
All right, Brandon Hastings, you're a crew chief for Michael Conti, and of course you help out a few of your other drivers. How did you get involved in the crew chief side?
Well, when I started the whole sim racing thing in about 2012, 2013, I was very what's the word, agitated about the fact that the setups, and people had to be fast, be able to change stuff, springs, shocks, track bar, sway bar, and all that. And I was 12 years old. I still barely knew how to write cursive. So what did I do? I went and I was like, let's figure out how this works. So for the next few years, going over from NASCAR sim racing, R Factor, ARCA sim racing, all the way to iRacing, I just learned, and I took all of that knowledge and just kind of compiled a bunch of stuff in my head. I actually, for a while, had a huge binder with notes and springs and what cars want, downforce, and all that good stuff. And it's gotten to the point recently where my driving talents on iRacing are very under par. So they say, just very, they're just kind of there. So now I've gotten to the point where I'm just going to worry and let's just focus on the setup stuff, because that's what I'm actually good at. And luckily I've kept going with it, because I mean, I'd say my setups, our setups were 2 out of the final 4 in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze series. Our setups, I'd say we got a pretty good notebook going on. So it took years, man. I think I'm on year 11 of learning this stuff. It's not easy still.
Well, we want to welcome Matt Bussa that just joined into the Hangout. I had to send the link through his email. Apparently, it didn't work on Facebook, but he's here now. Matt Bussa, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good, man. First off, I want to congratulate you on your success so far in the NASCAR Peak iRacing Series. You made it all the way into the Championship 4 and had a shot to go for a championship this past Tuesday night. And, of course, I do want to thank you for having Lombard Bros Gaming on board your car. So first off, tell me about how did you get involved in NASCAR racing?
In NASCAR, I became a fan back in about 1999. I was just flipping through the channels on TV, and I happened to tune into the Bristol night race where Earnhardt and Labonte got into it. And then ever since that, I was an Earnhardt fan. And then, unfortunately, when he passed away and Harvick took over, I've been probably the biggest Harvick fanboy, admittedly, ever since 2001. And then, yeah, for iRacing, I believe I saw Deley Jr. talking about it in some interview about 2009 in, I want to say in the early months, probably still winter. And then middle of 2009, I got into iRacing and decided to run for pro in about 2012, and then made the World Championship the next year in 2013.
Sounds good, man. Well, Brandon Hastings, it looked like he got his webcam to work. Looking good, man. We were just talking, he said that his webcam was not working right when he joined the show. He said he got all dressed up fancy and everything. I told him we're not fancy, but I'm looking at you too, man, and you both are looking fancy. I don't know what Nick looks like. I guess it don't matter to him, I guess. So I want to know who wins the fancy award here.
What? No, we're tripping now, boys.
I shaved and everything, Boo. So what'd you do?
Nick? If Nick was here, you would find out that he had a ponytail. That's Nick's highlight.
Oh, let me get this working, boys. Now you got it.
Wait a minute. I thought you had a tie on, Brandon.
Yeah, no, that was a complete and utter lie. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was a lie.
I have a whole rack in my closet, though, filled. I got about 20 of them, I promise. I do have them.
Well, You guys look great. I'm just, I'm representing NASCAR Peak Anniversary Series. It's funny because I just grabbed the shirt out of the closet and I totally forgot. Wait, we got Peak drivers coming on, so I'm like, this is a great coincidence. So, but it's perfect. So, and now we got Nick Ottinger on the webcam.
Can you see the ponytail? Look at this. Look at this, boys. Look at this.
I like to call that a rat's nest usually.
Feminine side. There you go.
Gotta have some accent somewhere.
All right, so Matt, I do want to ask you. I asked these guys this question already, but how did you really get involved in iRacing? What made you fall in love with it? Let's say.
Just the competition aspect. I used to do R Factor and NASCAR race in 2003, and just running against AI. R Factor, there was a little bit of online, but just being able to go any time of the day and race against live people and actually not have people just go around the track backwards like in NASCAR Heat or some other video game. It's really fun to just have the actual racing be real. Obviously the danger aspect isn't there, but the racing is definitely real, and that's what I thrive for.
So, Nick, you started off this season, and with the season opener win at Daytona. So, and you made the playoffs. You just barely missed the championship 4. But talk us through how your season was overall.
I think it was actually one of my, I want to say best season, because my best season was 2013. But I think as far as working with teammates, it was my best year. Actually having teammates I can rely on consistently, different tracks where we helped improve each other. My season went, obviously Daytona win was my biggest win, I think, in my career in iRacing. Just finally being able to finish the race is just what you want, but finally be able to win, and us finishing 1, 2, 3 is what we wanted. I say the first half of the year, really, after Daytona, wasn't stellar. I think we were definitely subpar. I think once we finally started putting a head down, working a little bit harder to get better cars for us to drive, obviously you've seen it on track, it worked better. I know we just missed the Final 4. It wasn't a lack of effort. We just had a little bad luck, and I think I should have had a little bit better car at Dover to get us locked into the Final 4, but it is what it is. I think our team had a shot to win it. It's unfortunate we didn't, but I think the effort was there, and that's all I can really ask for in teammates.
So Matt, you this was your 6th full season in the NASCAR Peak Anniversary Series, and you tried for the longest time to get your first career win, and you finally made that happen just a few weeks ago at Atlanta, and that win actually punched yourself a ticket to the championship 4. So walk us through your season and tell us about the win at Atlanta and your race over at Homestead.
Yeah, the season started out pretty good at Daytona. We all ran right up front the whole race, and I believe I got 7th or 8th. And then the next few weeks was quite the struggle, especially Auto Club. I remember I was running about 30th to 35th the entire race. That's just something that we're not used to. We're typically at least a top 20 car, I would say, throughout the years. And then, yeah, I finally got the win at Atlanta. And that came, I would say that started at New Hampshire. That track I tested a lot for. That's my favorite track by far. And had the dominant car there, me and Michael Conti did. And unfortunately, we didn't get the win. Mr. Ottinger can attest to that. But
Flat tire.
Flat tire, okay.
Yeah, me and Nick had some little Rubbins racing moments there, but I was all good. And yeah, but after New Hampshire, we just really put our heads down, found some little tricks in the setups. Hastings did an amazing job working with Conti, especially on telemetry. And Conti is really, really smart now. I've noticed his intelligence with the setups grow throughout the year, and now he's as good as anybody out there. And with all those combined efforts, we were able to make the championship 4. Came up just short at the end of it, but still a great season. My best of the career so far.
Sounds good. Now, Brandon, obviously you work with these guys. How much time and effort do you really get into this just to make sure that your drivers are successful on the racetrack?
Well, I'd put in a pretty good bit of time, and even when I'm not on TeamSpeak and iRacing sessions looking at setups, I'm still, you like that? I'm still putting in effort right now as a Team Conti, just with Conti Schoenberg and my partner Pat Millay. We have a Microsoft OneNote where we all can pitch in, put in ideas and all that. In before and after sessions and all that, I have a checklist. I have things that I already know that I want to try. You know, if I want to try a higher spoiler, what do I do? Do I do heights or do I do springs? If I want to try getting the splitter lower, how am I going to do that? Do I want to keep the springs I have in it? Do I want to use armor symmetry to pull it down? You know, I already have a list of stuff that I want to do. There's a set schedule for us to do everything. And there's just a lot of extra stuff that goes on in the background that some of these people don't understand. Luckily, Nick, Bussa, Conti, Brian, they all get it. They all know what we need to work on. They all look at the list and they're like, I think this is going to work. And then they can go out and they're all smart enough now that they can do a lot of this stuff on their own.
Sounds good. Now, I want to ask you guys because, you know, it seems like you guys put in a lot of time. This is really mainly for Matt and Nick. You guys spent hours and hours just, you know, just being prepared for any race that they like, you know, one race goes by and then you're already preparing for the next race. And even a few races down the road on the schedule, how much time, if I want to start off with you, Nick, how much time do you really, how much effort do you really, how much time do you spend on that simulator just to prepare for a race?
Well, if you want to win a championship, you got to spend as much time as you can, whether that's nightly, every other night, or you really want to spend as much time as you can. I mean, there's been nights where I think each of us can attest, even Brandon, that we've stayed up till 1 a.m. or close to it, or past that, to really get better, get our cars better. But for each race, I mean, personally, I like to take about a week off, somewhere around there. And if we're really behind, like we were first half of this year, we put basically next day or a couple of days after the race we sucked at, we'd be testing for the next race. So, I mean, we probably wait about a week, then test every other day, put nightly sessions up, whether that'd be like 2 hours, 4 hours or whatever, just depending on how much we really needed to dial the car in. It really wasn't that much time we needed to put in from a base setup side of things, because I mean, we really improved the last quarter of the year. So, I mean, anywhere from like, you really put 2 to 10 to 15 hours on a race is what we've usually done.
That's pretty crazy. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, we usually test as a group, so pretty much the same answer as Nick, except on the weekends, I maybe spend a little more time than they do. During the week, I get home from work at about 6 to 6:30 p.m. my time. So then I just spend my night. If I have any other projects at work to work on, if I don't have any of that, it'll be iRacing. And I like to have some fun in iRacing as well, instead of just making setups the entire time. So I run some NASCAR iRacing series races, some dirt here and there. Like to have some fun mixed in with the setup building. And otherwise, yeah, about 10 to 15 hours for a race sounds pretty accurate. If not, all the way up to 20, maybe a little more for some tracks we put a ton of effort into.
Yeah, I was so I met Brian Schoenberg in person a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me, I mean, I even knew how much you guys put into it, but I had no idea how much. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it takes a lot for you guys to just go out there and be successful in this series. I mean, the stuff he was telling me was just unbelievable. And I knew iRacing took a lot of time and a lot of effort and stuff, but what he was telling me that night I met him, it was just unbelievable what he was telling me. I'm just like, wow. So, you know, I really appreciate you guys putting a lot of effort and trying to make you guys a success in this series, because, you know, just watching these peak entry series, just seeing all the talents that, you know, not just for you guys, but everybody else in the field. I mean, just to get up into that top level is just, it's got to feel really good. And big accomplishment. I mean, I feel like you guys all together in the PKM Free Series does a very good job, runs a very great series. They're exciting, fun to watch. Coming down all the way from the start of the season to the checkered flag, the championship at Homestead. You guys just provide a lot of talent, a lot of good racing, and I'll never forget in the first few races we had Lombard Rose Gaming on board with you, Matt. That man, we were so bummed that you didn't get the win at New Hampshire because you had one of the best cars there. And then, of course, in the final laps at Atlanta was very nerve-wracking for us to watch because we're like, oh, man, we know Conti is great and stuff, but, man, Bussa, you got to get up on that wheel and just hold him off. And you did a pretty good job with that. So it just takes a lot of talent and effort just to go not only win races but to go after a championship. So I just want to give you guys a lot of credit on what you do, and of course the broadcasting team does a very good job at it as well. So so I want to ask you guys this: has there been any race out there that that you guys ran into each other and got really pissed off at each other that it created some arguments?
No comment.
I can think of one, Nick Onger and Matt Bussa in New Hampshire earlier this season.
Yeah, I honestly think that's the only race in 6 years. And even that, I wasn't like angry at Nick because that situation should have never happened because I forgot who it was, but somebody self-spun to bring out of that caution. And that pretty much ended the race right there because it was in the middle of green flag pit stops and it just jumbled up the field, lost the lead because of that. So, yeah, if people didn't self-spin, I think we would have had a win there. But, yeah, otherwise, pretty clean over the 6 years, I would say, Nick.
Boost is still in my way a lot, though, so don't let him fool you.
Or let's just say he was just better than you this season.
I don't know about that. I think you're right. New Hampshire.
I mean, who made the championship for?
Michael Connie. I don't know who Matt Bussa is, bro.
Well, I just just be careful with your tires next time. Make sure they don't go flat on your teammates. All right.
No promises. I like running in the walls, pretty much. I think that was proven at Homestead this Tuesday.
Yeah, I kind of saw some damage on your car. I'm like, man, he found the wall.
Even in the lead, I ran into the wall, so it was not a fun night for me.
No, it didn't look like a fun night what I was watching at all. It seemed like it was still somewhat of a fun night for Matt. He actually led a few laps. I know he pitted a few laps earlier, and obviously the other guys came down a few laps sooner and later, I should say. And they had the fresh tires, but Matt got to feel good to lead for a few laps, and man, I have a shot at championship, but then here comes Conti and Alfala and Huluza. Hey, I give you a lot of credit. You did a good job still Tuesday night. Even though you didn't come home with the championship, I still think you had a good performance there.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely a good experience to have under my belt and take it on to next year, and hopefully can apply it to Homestead next year if we're in the Final Four.
So I want to ask you guys, now you guys are in the off season, is this still going to just be the same amount of hours and time and effort to, you got a few more months until the new season starts. You still going to put up that much time to just still get ready for next season, Nick?
No.
I don't know what Hastings talking about.
No.
He's just sitting there looking at us do laps.
I want to watch my eyelids for once. Jesus.
Yeah, but I mean, you are a crew chief. You have to be prepared at all times. You have to be working at all times, man, even off season, man. So all the pressure's on you.
None of our cars are in the pro series. We're good. We're gonna lay low. We're gonna sit back. We're gonna watch that pro racing, and we're just gonna. Oh, that was a good stretch. Did y'all see that? Oh man, that was nice.
So you're saying you don't put an effort for these drivers to go after a championship? Is that what you're saying?
Next year we got a build change, bud. We can't do anything now. It's just gonna go in the trash here. It's gonna come January.
That's true. All right, good point. I'll give you that one. But okay, as soon as that build comes in, obviously you gotta be prepared.
I'm down. I'm in. I'll put the wheel on the desk. We'll go to Daytona. We'll get the spoiler out of the air, and we'll be fine.
He still be in the zone.
Yeah.
I would
Do you guys
drive the car, but
do you guys trust him 100% of the time, or has he ever been let's say, a pain in the butt to work with at times?
just you can't say no. Look at him. Just look at him. He's always paying the butt.
I mean, the way he's dressed and then wants to throw. I mean, I'll give him that. He's got a nice shirt on, but I don't see no tie. And then I mean, his hair is,
He's
look at him.
That's what he's starting to look like now.
Weird flex, but okay.
He's just trying to look cool for the show. You know what I mean, Zach?
Yeah.
I mean, once he goes off camera, then he's going to look disgusting.
I
guarantee you.
What you don't know is I have no pants on, so that's fine.
Hey, you know what? I'm same with you, man. See,
yeah?
You don't know that I've been doing this every show with no pants on. So
That's good. Top notch. Just see me, I like it.
Nice
Me and you think.
I honestly got no words for that.
We are on the same wavelength. Have you ever thought about crew chief in a peak car?
You're on Bussa's then.
I mean, see.
That's harsh.
Bussa needs one. What are you talking about, man? Heck, I need one. Homestead. You see that too? You see that staying out strategy? That worked great.
I saw that pit entry.
Yeah, what was up with that pit entry, man? That looked bad.
Another flat tire, man. I don't know what happened there.
We gotta stop with these excuses, man. This is ridiculous. I think we need to throw him off the show. Do you think? Yeah, okay.
Didn't play the tire enough for me to pit on entry. So what are you talking about?
No, I think that's all on the driver there. I think you need to do a better job at car control.
Oh, no kidding. I ran into the wall like 3 times at Homestead. Missed pit entry. So good thing I barely finished the race. The broadcasting did not show you hit the wall, but man, they definitely show that missed pit entry for sure. And I'm just saying that, like, need to work on that, man. At least for next season, okay? That's what you need to practice more during the off season. It's just pit entry. We need a real pit entry at Homestead. What are you talking about?
Well, we also need a real driver in the 05 too. I'm not saying anything.
Oh, I hope you get fired by Mikey.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely agree with that too. You're great, man. I mean, you're a winner at Daytona, but where's that championship? Is it gonna happen?
It's back in 2013 when I never got it.
But that you're dude for one, man. I mean, 2013, that's 5 years ago, man. It's time.
It's time, I know. I want Boots to finish ahead of me in the points, man. I gotta step it up.
See, so basically, Bussa is the better driver than you.
Man, I don't know if I can accept that.
He made the championship for him, and there's proof.
Been progressing the last 2 or 3 years. Seriously, he didn't have no luck last year, but truly, he's been really a top 5 driver for sure.
Well, Bussa, you got any comments?
I think he said it pretty well. I think we should also make note who's the better Rocket League player here.
Who's the better what? Rocket
League player.
Oh, not me. Who is better out of all you guys?
Not Bussa. Definitely not Bussa.
Is he? Is Bussa really that good? All right.
He's good. He's good at not hitting the balls. What he's good at.
Well, you're not good at pin entry and not good staying off the wall. So.
That's the only thing I'm good at. Rocket League is hitting the ball and staying on the wall. That's why I run into stuff.
That's why you run into stuff all the time. Now we know we are getting behind the scenes and understanding where the skills are coming from and where the non-talent comes from too. And you could just talk to Nick Ottinger and he'll provide all that information for you.
We need the cat, Bruce, to bring him on. Come on.
I'm really just looking for him. I'll go get him.
Finally, someone with some good insight.
No, well, I'm about to get to you, Brandon.
Oh no, you're not.
Thank God.
Yeah, I am.
Okay,
so I want to ask you, do all these drivers, have they ever got mad at you on how you're being a crew chief or how you set up
How I do stuff? No, I'm pretty easily going. The only time they ever get mad is if you look at Las Vegas 2017. Me and Conti were getting ready to have our first top 5 of the season. And it was the build where the first run was always going to be the worst run because all the setups were made to short fill. And all of the setups, the tire model was made to where it was a very linear fall off. So every single lap you were losing a tenth, no matter what. There was nothing that was plateauing as far as time fall offs. And everyone started, I had a number, and everyone started short pitting by a hair. So everyone short pitted by about 3 laps. Well, I didn't put another click of gas in Conti's car for 2017. So we're here running about 4th place, and we're like looking good. And I look about 20 to go, and the fuel thing says 18 to go. And I'm like, oh, I'm fired. Whatever.
You should have been fired.
I shouldn't have been fired. After that, we haven't had that issue at all, even with and without short fueling or just wrong adjustments or whatnot. But
so then what happened at Homestead Tuesday night? I mean, I would think if Conti is the best driver, you think he come on with the championship. So is that the blame on you or the blame on him?
Yeah, it's the blame on me, I guess. I'll take the blame, but I mean, really what Conti said, we took a deep breath and we said, group effort. We tried our best and it just didn't work out. So on to next year.
You know what? I'll admit, I'm glad you admitted that it was your own fault. Most people be like, "Oh, it's the other guy's fault," but at least you had the balls to blame it on yourself. So
I know when I do something wrong. I know, and I'll sure as hell take the blame.
Now, I'll be honest with you. I was only listening 50% of the time on what you're saying because I was admiring that cat that Bussa's got. Man, that's a nice looking cat.
It's a great cat.
It's a great cat, man.
It was yelling during the Atlanta post race interview. Did you hear it?
It was. I remember, and that was the race that Lombard Bros game he was on. The race he won, and all of a sudden you just hear his cat meowing in the background. Yeah. I'm like, the cat needs an interview, man. I mean, I guarantee
I told Bussa, I was like, God, imagine like your cat during the Atlanta interview. Imagine you winning the championship. Let's see how that goes. See if you even get a word in.
Oh, okay. Agree. No, the cat's like, hey, I have something to do with this win as well. I was just there for support. I think I should be allowed for an interview too. I was there. I was a fan, and you know, cats can be annoying sometimes. I have a cat that's annoying at times too, but especially when I used to have my desk in the house. Cat would just jump on my desk and just walk in front of me while I'm working. I'm like, all right, you know, and then just lay right there or sit, get in the way. It was a pain. Well, guys, I do want to thank you guys for joining on to the show tonight. Is there, Nick, do you have any final thoughts you want to say? Who do you got to thank for your success in the NASCAR Pecan Free Series?
Well, 2 of the guys is definitely in here. I mean, Hastings put a lot of dang effort into improving our cars for sure. I know we did a lot of driving them cars too, trial and error. Bussa for truly being a good teammate this year, trying everything he could, especially at Dover, just to try to get me into the Final Four alone. But I think it's just Mike Connie, Brian Schoenberg, just all the group effort we had. Obviously, Matt Holden, my crew chief. He done a lot of great things this year. I think our teamwork is really on point. I think the core group we have, I think it's probably the best core group we can have in bats, especially the last year or so. It's definitely a team we like having. I think we'll be definitely better next year because all the notes we have this year may not work as far as bringing the same style of stuff, obviously, to the track with a new car. But I think having a year under our belt, 2 cars battling for a championship, I think we learned a lot of things. So,
Matt?
Yeah, same thing Nick said with the teamwork. It was really great to see everything we accomplished this year and how we turned things around from the beginning to the end of the season. And 2019, it would be really cool to get all 4 of us in the Final Four at Homestead, which I think we could have a legitimate shot at if old lady Brian Schoenberg gets up on the wheel.
Old lady.
Oh, all right. I mean, I live by him. I can just go over this place right now and tell him, Matt just called you out, and he'll be like, "Why?" And I'm like, "You ask him."
Yeah. Bring either a new cane or a new walker. You might need one.
Ooh.
Damn.
So should we just end it on that? My gosh. Okay. Brandon, anybody you got to thank?
No.
Wow. All right. I'm sorry. Sorry. I just want to thank his drivers.
Thank you, Mom.
Okay.
That's it. That's all that it.
You redeemed yourself on that one because here's the thing. I do broadcasting for a couple of leagues on iRacing, and I always gotta say thank you to my mom too. So I gotta say hi to her on broadcast as well. So you redeemed yourself on that one. By the way, I was wondering when Evan, obviously he's the broadcaster for iRacing for the Peak and Free Series. I gotta say him and his partner, they do a very good job on broadcasting. I think they just broadcasting the races. And I'm, I asked him one time, when am I going to be up there? Like, I think I would be a good fit for it. Just get a third person up in the broadcast booth. I think I'll do great. Well, guys, I do want to thank you guys for joining tonight on the show. It's been a pleasure to have you, Matt, Nick, and Brandon for joining tonight. Enjoy the off season while it lasts until the new bill, whatever, shows up. You guys go practice some more, and we'll see you guys. Hopefully, we'll have some of you guys back on the show very soon. We'd like to get, especially hopefully before the season starts. Maybe we'll get you guys back on. But best of luck to you for next season as well. And congrats on what you guys accomplish. I have a lot of respect for you guys, for sure.
Oh, thank you, man. Definitely appreciate it. We'll definitely go another time for sure.
All right, sounds good. Well, you guys have a good night. You take care, all right?
See you, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Yep. And that is Matt Bussa, Nick Ottinger, and Braden Hastings, part of the NASCAR Peak and Free Series. Of course, Matt Bussa and Nick Ottinger are Peak and Free Series drivers, and Braden Hastings, he's the crew chief of Michael Conti, and of course he works with these guys as well. Really a lot of good information about what they do on iRacing and their performance in the NASCAR Peak and Free Series. I think they gave a lot of good details about it, and it's always a pleasure to have them. It was a pleasure to have them on the show. Hopefully we could get Brian Schoenberg and Michael Conti on next time, but it was a pleasure to have them on. Hopefully we can have them on again. Hopefully by the time before next season starts, we'd like to get some updates on how they're doing and how much work they put in during the off season. Of course, Matt Bussa, he made it into the championship for this season in the NASCAR Peak and Free Series. He came up short. He did not come home with the championship on Tuesday night, but a good performance for him this season overall. And he said it was the best season he's ever had in his career in his 6 years of running in the Peak and Free Series. Nick Ottinger, he opened up the season with the win at Daytona, made it into the playoffs, just barely missed out of the championship four, but of course, he's a 2013 champion. I can feel that he has another championship under his belt coming in the future, whether it's could happen next season or even a few years down the road, whatever, how long he does this. Of course, Brandon Hastings, he does a lot of work for these guys to make sure their cars is prepared and ready to go. And, just some good information about him. And maybe I should talk to him about, hey, how can I get those setups? How can I get those awesome setups where I can just beat some of these guys, not like in the Peak and Free Series, but maybe in my league or in other leagues I run. It's like, how do I get those setups? You know what I mean? Like, how do I become fast? I would say I'm decent, but I wouldn't say I'm a A driver. I would say I'm a B driver, but how can I make myself an A driver? Maybe I should try to find that book he has and maybe get all those setups.